We lost Justine right when she hopped in. All good. Welcome back
Okay,
to
perfect.
Content
Yeah,
Supply Live.
yes, thanks. Sorry, don't know what
All good.
happened. But anyways, welcome back to Content Supply Live, the podcast where we dive into the latest trends, and challenges in content creation and marketing. In today's episode, we're tackling a question from the social media marketing subreddit. And that question is, what's your secret to coming up with fresh content? So let's talk about it and let's dive into the Reddit here. Just share my screen. Okay,
Sweet.
perfect. So the situation is, I've been a part-time content creator for a while, managing everything from writing and social media to video production and radio. Lately, I've hit a wall when it comes to generating new ideas, staying on top of trends and algorithms across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And it feels like a never-ending chase. I even have separate accounts just to track people who make similar content so I can capture trends early, but even that gets overwhelming. I'm constantly trying to stay relevant, but some days I feel completely stuck. Does anyone else deal with this? What's your secret to staying creative and keeping your content fresh? And I feel like I can speak for all of us where like sometimes you just like hit a stump when it comes to thinking of ideas for fresh content. So this user is definitely not alone in that. But let's go through some of the comments here. And then we can just each talk about what our secrets are to creating content ideas. So this user says, why not mix up your content types each week? You can start with how-to guides, and then the next week dive into the latest trends, followed by some personal insights or behind-the-scenes peeks. It keeps your content diverse and more engaging. What are your thoughts on that?
I think this is a kind of helpful comment, maybe not the most helpful. I mean, yeah, I think it's just like more random little ideas. But for whatever reason, when it comes to me running out of content ideas, the thing that helps me the most is remembering to zoom out. I used to be, this is, I used to be a social media manager for a restoration company. And you can imagine not the most fascinating content that was ever produced or fascinating subject matter. Um, because who wants to follow a restoration company on social media? Not a lot of people. But what I had to do was get really kind of zoom out a little bit on what my audience needed. So while it was important that they saw, restoration flips and what our business did, what people really care about beyond that, you just had to zoom out a little bit more. So what do people care about when they're restoring something in their home? Well, they care about the safety of their home and they care about their home in general and how it looks. And so that kind of opens you up to a little bit more of a broader space where you can tackle so many more ideas. And so I find that helpful when it comes to marketing a boring company or quote unquote boring company. It helps to really zoom out and think more about the psychographics of your demographic. So less of the actual information, the small pieces of information they need to know, and more of take your target demographic. What are some other things going on in their lives that they care about or that they relate to? And I find that to be really helpful. I also, this is, guys, I have quite the weird resume, but I also used to be a social media, or used to be on the social media team for a company that sold floating shelves. And obviously there's not a ton you can talk about with floating shelves, like besides what you can put on them and the different types of shelves you can make. But what we did was we focused on our target demographic, and that guided, which was some like high earning wealthy moms, and those are the kind of people that were buying the shelves. And we focused more on that target demographic than the actual product we were selling, and we were able to write blog posts and even create like Spotify playlists for our target demographic, and that just opened up a whole different world of content creation ideas. And so to sum it all up, I would say focus more on your target audience and their psychographics than you are your actual product and what you're selling.
No, I think it's interesting I think you got to pull inspiration from other places, right? Like you had mentioned two kind of more mid or like not as exciting uh, brands that you worked for,
Mhm.
Kate. I've also like I've worked on healthcare brands. I've worked for like certain coaches. I've done content for the most boring B2B products that are known to man. And really, what it comes down to is like, are you selling to people or are you selling the product? So if you're just talking
Mhm.
about like the product or the service, then you will get stifled. But are you like connecting with people on an emotional level and in a fun way? Then those types of things will help. So you see this done really well in cases where like go find one of the bigger brands and see how they're interacting on social. I can't remember. I think it was one of you two at some point in a podcast a while back had talked about how social media is not a place where people just want to go and like read ads or like just see promotion. People just want to see things that are interesting and entertaining and that garner attention and to escape, right? So if you can find a way to create that moment, then there's a lot of different ways to do that. Red Bull does it. Like I'm a very big Red Bull guy. I really like it. Um, and their content is all about like action, and they sell the dream of like these cool things that people do. And so they're finding ways to connect with people and like, oh, look at this really intense thing this person's going to do. Look at the way this person's going to do a ski slope. Look at the way this person's going to do a half pipe. Uh, snowboard tricks and stuff like that. This person's doing a skateboarding thing. This person's flying a plane through a really tight area and going crazy. And they're selling an energy drink at the end of the day, right? It's it's an acquired taste energy drink that is about as much caffeine as like an espresso. So when you think about um, running out of content ideas, I think you go exterior. It's like, what is your niche? What's your industry? Sidestep that. Find something else. Go learn from that for a little bit and find a way. How do you sell the dream and the experience? What's the experience you want people to have? Sell that, make content around that. It goes the same. Like I think about this as a musician on the side too. Your music is one thing, your product is one thing. The way to get attention and why people engage with said service or product or music is a different. So you have to find a way to connect with that audience in a good way, like what Kate was saying with your psychographics. Like, where are people at? Who are they? What are they feeling? How are you talking to that? Like, are they people who are generally, wealthy moms? Then you could probably just do hella hilarious like kid and mom content. It's like you just trying to survive, and then you could have these funny moments where your kids are coming in and they're like making your life tough, and you're trying to like do anything in life, and then you can maybe bring in the floating shelf once in a while, or maybe it's just in the background of the video and it's not even part of the video at all. Like I think Jane, the Utah mom, is like perfect example. If you guys have seen her like promo videos whenever she's hired to do like an influencer type piece of content.
Yeah.
So like I forget 9 times out of 10 that she's even making a video about a product because she talks about the product for about 1% of the time, if that. Like most of the time, it's just like she's doing these fun characters and funny things. Trey Kennedy's another. They do stuff together, but he's a comedian that is in the same type of wavelength, and they found a way to connect with different target audiences, and certain brands can plug in and utilize that audience and that type of person. So um, yeah, I think creators can be inspiration. I think other brands can be inspiration, but to find a way to put your own spin on it, right? Don't just copy other people. It really gives me the ick when people say, "Oh, just go copy this other person's thing here. We just want to repurpose everything this person does." Do you literally have nothing to add in this world if that's your thought? I'm sorry, that just pisses me off. I've seen it a few times when some people have that mindset. Bothers me. Pulling inspiration and learning from other places to see how can I connect to my people and the way they connect to their people is different than just like, oh, this is another coach that's in my same industry. I'm going to take all their topics and information and I'm just going to make my own videos as close to I can as that. That just irritates me because it's like they might as well just go to the other person. You have nothing to add in this context. Anyway, that's my 2 cents, my soapbox that I'll get off of. But I think fresh content ideas don't have to necessarily be from like your industry, because if you're in a boring industry you won't find anything anyway. So you gotta go elsewhere.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, and I think another way that like you can come up with like new content ideas is also repurposing content that you posted like years ago and getting that back on like people's For You pages and everything. We see that a lot with like different podcasts and stuff. We can pull a podcast that you recorded 2 years ago with a certain individual or public figure, and we can repurpose that into different like podcast shorts that will get your people that will get your viewers going back to the original video. And I've seen that work with a lot of clients as well. Let's dive into let's see what other people think.
Comments we can hop into. Yeah.
Let's see.
Lot
Aside from
AI.
AI tools, you can also do market research, competitor analysis. We already kind of talked about that a little bit, social listening, and more in terms of content generation. I feel like Brendan and I talked about AI tools a lot like last week,
Mhm.
but that is definitely a way that we can come up with different like ideas. Of course, you don't want to like use all AI
Yeah.
generated ideas, but you can definitely like use AI to help with that if you are running into a stump.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Let's see. Are any other comments standing out to
Same boat.
either of you?
I hate the one that says in the same boat, I just get help from AI or ChatGPT or Gemini and just scroll. That is literally not a good idea. I I feel like I've said this a million times on Content Spy Life or been on this rant. But I feel like AI is one of those things like or social media is one of those things that AI cannot replace because it just does not have the information and the input that an actual like Instagram or TikTok user has. And it doesn't have the like vocabulary to come up with, oh, this trend is like, it just doesn't have that information. So it will create some ideas like, oh, behind the scenes or company spotlight. Like those are some things that it will come up with that tell me the last time you interacted with somebody's company spotlight team member post on Instagram. Literally never. So I think if you want to get some ideas, I don't know, or maybe even some scripting ideas from AI, but I really don't think that AI is something that you can rely on when it
Yeah.
comes to producing your own content. So
It may work for a very small
go
business.
down for that one.
Yeah. I think it may work for a very small business. Like when you talk about like a company highlight and like a team highlight, I think that can work in the area where my wife and I live. There's like a 10,000, 15,000 person town. When people post like, oh, this is my friend, it's like people like and engage with that. But if you're like a bigger company, like it's okay on a LinkedIn post, but there's really no value on an Instagram like reel for that. So
Mhm.
it's kind of one of those things. It's like if you're going to do a team feature, do something funny or something creative. You know, like there's that's where creative is everything now. Got to have something unique. Got to have something to add, uh, something to spark interest. Like and AI is not cutting it. You're totally right because everything's just homogenizing. That's what I've seen. When people are using AI, it's just all their crap sounds the same. All the stuff they're doing sounds the same. There's nothing interesting. There's nothing unique. Nothing original. So it's I think people are kind of sick of it already. I've noticed that. I use it less now than even a year ago, and less, just because it's not moving the needle. The stuff I do on my own gets better
Mhm.
engagement. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of a, yeah. Anyway, you can use it to spark the initial idea, but don't rely on it too heavily, and you'll
Yeah.
see what works and what doesn't for that. So anyway, active communities. I think community stuff is great. Actually, I think forums like this is probably a really good way to find ideas too. Like if there's any forum that's like, what are you guys seeing that's trending right now? Oh, we're doing this. It's like that's decent advice, right? If you're gonna shoot in the dark, I think asking a community of people who are actually getting engagement in real life versus a robot that's regurgitating language is a better thing, you know. So something to think about there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's any other helpful comments. I didn't really see any as I was scrolling through. All right, but let us know if what your ideas are to creating original content when you run into a stump, and put those ideas in the comments. And then also let us know what you want us to talk about next week. Let us know all your marketing questions or just ideas that you have for us. And we will talk to you next time on Content is Why Life. Bye.
Peace out.